We spend our whole lives making decisions about our most precious resources, our time, our money, our effort. But there's this powerful little glitch in our brains that can totally cloud our judgment, trapping us into sticking with really bad choices. Let's dig into what it is and, more importantly, how to break free.
Okay, picture this. You're 15 minutes into a movie and you realize, oh man, this is terrible. But you stay. You sit through the whole agonizing thing. Why? Because you spent 10 bucks on that ticket. That nagging feeling, that sense of obligation, well, it has a name.
Yeah, if that sounds familiar at all, then you've run smack into a powerful cognitive bias called the sunk cost fallacy. It's that little voice in your head that whispers, you're just too invested to quit now.
All right, so if we want to beat this trap, we've got to understand what we're really up against. Let's break down exactly what a sunk cost actually is.
A sunk cost is simple. It's anything you've already spent that you can't get back. That $10 for the movie ticket, the second you handed it over, that money was gone. It's in the past, it's sunk.
And this is the absolute key distinction we have to make in our own heads. Sunk costs, they're in the past. They are gone forever. Future costs, on the other hand, that's all about the choice you have right now. The fallacy kicks in when we let what's gone forever dictate the choices we make today.
And believe me, this isn't just about a bad movie. This exact same flawed thinking scales up from these small personal decisions to absolutely massive, multi-billion-dollar projects. A classic and frankly kind of staggering example of this is the Concorde supersonic jet. It's really the perfect cautionary tale of the sunk cost fallacy playing out on a massive governmental scale.
So here's how it all went down. The French and British governments poured huge amounts of money into developing this incredible futuristic plane. But partway through, all the data was screaming that it was never ever going to be profitable. So what did they do? Instead of cutting their losses, they did the exact opposite. They just kept pouring money into it, arguing that they couldn't possibly stop because they had already spent so much. That's a textbook case of basing a future decision on past unrecoverable costs.
But okay, let's bring it back from these huge government mega projects, because this thing gets so personal. It seeps into every little corner of our lives, and a lot of the time, it's got nothing to do with money at all.
Come on, have you ever forced yourself to wear a pair of expensive shoes that just kill your feet? The money is already gone. Your only choice now is between future comfort or future pain. Or, and this is a big one, staying in a relationship that just isn't working simply because you've already invested years of your life into it. Those years are sunk. The only real question is how you want to spend your future.
So, you gotta ask, right? If this is so obviously irrational, why do we all do it? What is going on in our brains that makes it so incredibly hard to just let go? Well, the psychology is pretty fascinating.
It pretty much boils down to two really powerful psychological drivers. First, we are just hardwired to avoid looking and feeling wasteful. And second, on a really deep gut level, we absolutely hate the feeling of loss.
Let's take that first one, not wanting to be wasteful. Think about being in a job you really don't like. Quitting can feel like you're admitting that all those years of effort were a complete waste, and we hate that feeling. So we stay, sinking even more of our time and energy into something that isn't making us happy, just to avoid facing the costs of the past. And then you have the other monster, our pure hatred of losing. This quote from the economist Richard Thaler just nails it. Imagine you bought a $100 concert ticket, but then a friend offers you a free ticket to a Broadway play you'd much rather see on the exact same night. A lot of us would still drag ourselves to the concert because not using that ticket feels like we are actively losing $100. That feeling of loss is so powerful, it often completely outweighs the potential for future joy.
All right, so we get it. We know what this thing is. We've seen how it works in our own lives. So now what? How do we actually fight back? How do we start making smarter, more rational decisions for ourselves?
The number one rule, the big takeaway here is actually super simple to say, even if it's kind of hard to do. You have to learn to ignore sunk costs. That's it. You have to stop basing your decisions on the time, money, or effort you've already put in, because no matter what you do, you're never getting it back.
So instead of looking in the rearview mirror at what's already gone, you got to focus on what's right in front of you. The only things that matter for your next decision are the resources you have right now. Your time today, your money today, your effort today, and deciding on the best path forward from this very moment. And you know what? When you really get this, it's so freeing. It means you should feel great about putting down a book 100 pages in if you're just not enjoying it. The time you spend on those first 100 pages, it's sunk. The real choice now is whether you want to spend the next few hours reading something you actually love.
when you learn to ignore sunk costs, you're not admitting that you wasted something, you're liberating your future. So the only question left to ask yourself is this: what are you ready to quit?